Hey, everybody. Happy Hacktoberfest. Welcome to Show and Tell. So, if you haven't watched before, this is our live stream where the TBD team shows and tells you about the latest, greatest open source project or concept at TBD because we love being open about what we're working on. So, as a quick note, during the show, whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter, our Discord chat. You can drop questions within the chat and we will answer them in the second half of our show. There may be the off chance we answer questions during, but we'll see. So, I am your host, Tanya, and joining me as my co host to help me along the way for this special Hacktoberfest show is
Hey
Rizel.
y'all, how y'all
Hey.
doing?
Happy Hacktoberfest, Nilo. And awesome. I see people tuning in from all over and some from Ghana as well. Great. So feel free to quickly introduce yourself in case somebody may not know you. So,
Yeah, hey y'all. My name is Rizel. I'm a staff developer advocate here at TBD, and I am excited about Hacktoberfest and what issues have already been coming in, or pull requests that have already been.
me too. And I'm technical community manager here at TBD. And so for today's show, we're going to walk you through, just everything you would kind of want to know for Hacktoberfest. And we'll just go about it one step at a time. But before we get that started, uh, my icebreaker question for today is for Rizal and for chat. What is your favorite like fall seasonal thing? It could be anything. It could be like a drink, a food, uh, obviously holidays like Halloween, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's a toss up between two. I like haunted mazes. I think they're funny, and
Oh,
then
like actually going in them?
yeah, they're hilarious because it's
Oh,
not. I mean, it's just random people like jumping out and scaring you. But I'm more laughing at like everybody else that's scared. I don't know why I like it.
oh, I
And
see.
then Tanya's like, "You're
Do
crazy."
you not get scared easily?
I do, but not in the maze. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And then I guess I like um apple picking, but not for the apples, for the donuts. They're fun.
Oh, that's so true. I always feel like I'm a liar when I show up apple picking because I'm like, I like apples, but I don't need to pick them. Like, I don't want
Yeah,
to do work,
I
you know?
never pick it. I don't want to carry around the bag. I just walk around with people until we finally get to the donuts. I'm like, all right, that's what I came here for. What about you?
Um, I would say Halloween just for like spooky seasonal stuff, but it really does come back to food every single time for me. So I just like I would say the top thing is just the weather changing. I love fall weather. I don't like when it gets too chilly
Yeah.
and we may not always get like the fall season anymore, honestly, but I still love that.
And
So
fall's
yeah.
really pretty with the leaves and all that.
Yeah. All right. So for today's show, I'm going to walk everybody through, how do I get started for Hacktoberfest and what projects from TBD are participating, what can I win, and then a general Q&A. So to get started, I'll take Rizal off the screen for just a bit. Um, it all comes down to actually finding our tasks, right? So when it comes to finding tasks, the immediate thing you'll start with that Hacktoberfest also mentions is you'll look at labels. So across all of our projects, um, anything that's a part of a participating repo for Hacktoberfest will have the Hacktoberfest label. And the other thing is they will be a part of project hubs. So, sometimes it can be hard to look through all the issues and it's a bunch of Hacktoberfest issues across everything, right? So you may want to look at something that's just for one specific repo. That's why these pinned project hubs are super awesome and very organized so that you can get all the info that you need for your specific task and where it falls under in just one place. So you can see everything's just organized here. So there's a lot for you to choose from. And then, of course, if you also prefer this, you can, let me go back really quick. Let me see here. Let me press this. You can also you can also view our projects, and there's a Hacktoberfest 2024 project as well, which will contain all those project hubs that I just mentioned. And last but not least, all the other info that you need, if you prefer it, we have a whole blog post that details everything you need to know, including all of our projects, like I'm going to go through today with you. And pretty much that's it. So, uh, one other thing that you will probably want to know, aside from finding the task, is, how do I assign myself a task? Do I have to wait for somebody to do so for me? And the answer is no, you don't have to wait for anybody to do it for you. All you have to do is you comment. Oh, let me actually go to here and I'll show an example right here. As this is a resolve one that somebody contributed towards recently, you just comment take all by itself. And we mostly ask that you just take one task at a time. And all that means is once you've submitted your PR for a given task and you've met all the acceptance criteria, then you can move on to your next one. And some final resources to mention that you may or may not be familiar with is every repo that for our participating projects will have a contribution guide, which will have mentions of Hacktoberfest, along with a README, which is, similar information, along with a very important, our code of conduct. This is just for your personal reference, so that in general, if you're ever lost, you can have immediate answers to questions on, just decorum and, like inclusivity and just like, um, you know, having a good time, making sure everyone has a great time. So, yeah. Um, Now, I'm going to go over each of our participating projects one by one that you may have seen, well, not may have, that you did see in our commercial for this stream. And I'm going to start with our TBD developer website. So that's basically, where our documentation and everything lives, right? So this is for that project, and it's essentially a DocuSource instance that powers the developer website. And what you can expect to do, let me zoom out just a little bit. What you can oh, that might be too much. What you can expect to do or learn is, creating your own content and addressing small fixes across our website, and just in general improving the developer experience. So for each project, you want to know, what will you learn or level up on a personal level by contributing to a project, because it's important to understand, what am I going to learn? What will I get out of this? So in our experience, you can get to use Markdown or CSS in this for our developer website tasks this year, but you'll also be able to learn by teaching. So when it comes to creating content, you'll learn to create content because you'll be tested to make your own blogs or videos, things like that, on, Web 5 topics. And learning by teaching, by making content, is a really powerful thing. So if you want to be a content creator or you are one, this is a great way to get started here. So moving on to our next project is for our Web5.js SDK, but there are two um, projects that fall under this umbrella. So the first one is to create a protocol builder and explorer. So um, this will be this is so users can discover and reuse existing protocols that we have, and just generally avoid manual JSON writing. And the other follow-up tasks that we have in addition to this that are just a bit more general for our Web5.js TypeScript implementation is you can work on, allowing public or read-only interactions with decentralized web nodes or DWNs, and something like, creating a help signal API request, like determining whether it's successful or a failure. So yeah. And my question for Rizel, and I bring her on stage really quick. What do you feel contributors will learn or, level up in by contributing to either of these projects specifically? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. For the Web5.js one, I believe that people will get a better understanding of how the SDK works overall, like the internals. So by contributing to the Web5.js projects, that's what you will like, not well, not the protocol builder, but like the Web5.js issues themselves.
Yeah.
And then for the protocol builder, I think there's a lot of opportunity to just get more experience with component based frameworks, if that's something you want to do, or flex your skills with like anything UI related, and then also get a little glimpse into like how certain things in Web5.js or DWNs work. So, like how we're storing data, how roles happen, how tags happen. So that might give you a little bit more insight.
Awesome. So yeah, that's for that project for Web5.js. Would love to see contributions to all of our projects. And moving on to our next one is Web5 RS with Rust. So this, if you don't know, is Web5 RS is our monorepo that houses the core components of the Web5 platform, specifically containing the core Rust code with Kotlin bindings. And specifically for Hacktoberfest, though, you can expect to work on contributions towards the Web5 Rust CLI. So this is a powerful tool that works with DIDs or decentralized identifiers and VCs or verifiable credentials. And the task that you can expect here is to add features that enhance the user friendliness of the Web5 CLI, along with adding some how-to documentation that is much needed here. So again, for Rizel, what would you say somebody will learn, or, what will somebody learn by contributing to this project specifically?
Yeah, and just to note, there's a few more issues that will come in for
Yeah.
this particular one. I think it's exciting because right now I know Rust is kind of like the hot new stuff, and so is Go. So I think it'll just give you experience in like writing some Rust, writing like a CLI, like or contributing to a CLI, and yeah, I guess also again you get experience in how do some internals functionality in Web 5 work. So you'll get a better understanding of like how to create DIDs with Web 5 or verifiable credentials. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so really exciting stuff. Thank you, Rizal, again. So the following project that is also participating is our DWN SDK. So this is our decentralized web node reference implementation. So what you can expect to work on for Hacktoberfest specifically is adding features and like guardrails, I would say, or limits. So something like allowing an indexing or filter query by creator. I've seen that mentioned in our office hours, addressing some general bugs that we have, like making sure an author is referenced correctly or revisiting general logic, along with testing and refactors. So, Rizal, what would you say somebody will learn by contributing to this project?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna sound repetitive. Let me
It's
see.
okay.
I'm
It's
like, you're
okay.
gonna learn Web 5. Okay, this is more for, I would say the DWN SDK is like the layer underneath Web 5, right? So Web 5 JS makes things a little bit like more abstracted and easier to leverage. So if you are, I'm not saying you have to be like a Web 5 DWN geek, but like if this is like you're really your thing, I think a lot of the issues will speak to you and you'll get to see like, oh, okay, here's how everything works behind the scenes. And maybe you've been using DWNs for a while and you're like annoyed at some of the bugs. This is your chance to fix it. I know at least for me, sometimes I go like, I wish I could sign up to work at this company, fix the bug, then quit. Well, you don't have to sign up to work here and quit, but you can just fix the bugs.
That's so specific, but definitely relatable. And that's a very great way to differentiate this, the DWN SDK versus Web 5, since there is obviously going to be a lot of overlap there. So the next projects that I will show you that are also participating is our DWeb starter app collection. So what I mean by this is we already have a DWeb starter app. I forget, I think we have it in React and Vite, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's written in people. Some people say V. Some people say
Oh,
Vite.
is it
Yeah.
Vite or Vite? I never
I don't know.
actually said
I
it out
hear
loud.
Nick say Vite, but I always say V. I don't know. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's written in React and and Vite with that project. But I'll let you keep going before I jump back in.
yeah. So, um, what you can expect towards Hacktoberfest this year is, as I just mentioned, this is our decentralized web app starter collection. And, that means like Web 5 progressive web apps or PWAs. And what you would work on is to expand our collection with JavaScript and Vue, right? I believe I'm saying that right.
Yeah,
Again, sometimes there are words I have not
correct.
said out loud.
I think that's correct. And I would like to note for people, because somebody was asking, a lot of these tasks are, I guess, meant to be for this particular.
Oh, your camera went out for a second. Oh, oops.
I've been having internet issues. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
What was I was saying was a lot of these issues are meant to be in a particular order, like the order that you see them in. So I think somebody was asking to like add the ARIA labels, but this app still needs like the base foundation. So just pay attention to like, oh, is the issue before already completed so that you can complete the next one. And if you feel more comfortable with Vue, use that. If you feel more comfortable with Vanilla JS, go for that one.
That's a very good note. I noticed that question too, so that's very good to know. Yeah. So, what do you think uh, somebody will learn or enjoy, like leveling up in by contributing to specifically our D Web app starter collection?
Yeah, I think you might get a chance to learn a lot. So our D web apps are actually like progressive web apps with like decentralized web concepts instilled in them. So it might give you some more exposure or ability to try out PWAs a bit. You might also just get a chance to do some UI stuff, documentation. There's a couple of accessibility issues as well because I know sometimes people are like, I want to there needs to be more accessibility issues during Hacktoberfest. And then you may also get exposure to something called DRLs, which are decentralized resource locators. And that's part of like the whole DWeb thing. So you'll get a better understanding of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for providing that background. So that's it for that project. And moving on to, we have a couple more projects to go over because there's a wide variety of stuff. The next one is DidPay. So DidPay is a mobile app that provides a way for individuals to actually interact with PFIs or participating financial institutions via TBDEX. It's something that um, it's not just an important visual, but it's just an important functionality as well. But what you can expect to contribute towards for Hacktoberfest is specifically addressing like one or two fixes, along with some caching issues, along with primarily creating tests as well that are much needed. So I would say it's kind of self-explanatory here, but do you have anything to add for what someone may expect to learn by working on this project for DidPay?
I think they'll just get uh an understanding of TB in the real world, like how the interface will work with it, kind of like you were saying. And I think writing UI tests makes the barrier a little bit lower because those things are already in place for them. So they just have to write tests for it. And it can help to reinforce the idea.
Awesome. Yeah. So, as you'll notice, as some of our projects will have, maybe some projects will have less tasks than others, but uh, it doesn't reflect how much, like, weight that they will have, which is something I'll get into in a bit. So, our next project that I want to mention is our did. Do people say did like DHT? Did dot? Like I've seen like jokes
Yeah, I
and
did
stuff.
DHT, but Angie always says did that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, did that. I love did that way more. But it sounds like I'm not talking about it almost. But yes, so this is for our did DHT method, which you can learn about, and our server implementation. So what you can expect to contribute towards for this project for Hacktoberfest is adding features like storing historical records, a universal resolver driver, type indexing, things like that, and just general discussion for future enhancements. So there may be experimental ideas to consider, along with something like disclosable did DHT docs. So yeah, what would you say, Rizel, that you can expect to learn by contributing to this project specifically?
Yeah, I think, well, this is not necessarily a learning. I don't know why I've always wanted to contribute to a spec before,
Yeah.
so my name could be there or something. But there's one issue there, like you mentioned, documentation to kind of expand on the spec as our did method is evolving and changing. We need to add more things here, and then again, I think it'll help you get more understanding of how decentralized identifiers work. And our did method is particularly unique because it's not leveraging the blockchain. It's on mainline DHT. It's using BitTorrent. So I think it kind of can be cool to dive into that world.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Hacktoberfest is a great opportunity where if you've been looking to get started somehow with TBD or Web5 in general, but you didn't know where, this is a perfect place. And then, as Rizal kind of mentioned or touched on, is you can become like almost a foundational contributor for some of this stuff too, which is or a lot of our projects. So that's awesome. Returning contributors can lead to great things. Like people have found careers from getting involved during Hacktoberfest specifically. So, speaking of something similar to that, is our next project DCX. So this is one of our this is was a incubation project, and what DCX specifically is, it's a Web5 protocol for decentralized credential exchange. To kind of sum it up a bit, even though it mentions it here and you can learn about it, is exchanging a user's verifiable credential or VC for a different one. Now, what you can expect to really contribute towards for this project for this year is adding missing test coverage and enhancements like DWN subscriptions. So awesome stuff. And this is maintained by, Brian as part of DCX. And you'll be able to get to know or get to work with some of our project maintainers for our different projects. I forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah, so Rizal, any uh, additional comments on like what you will learn by contributing to DCX specifically?
I think you probably
I feel like I touched
um,
on most of it, but
yeah, you touched on a lot of it, and I'm almost repeating myself with some things. I just think there's a number of things that you get to try out, and it doesn't always have to be like what you will learn, but just like
yeah.
you'll get to experience, like again, example, Docker, GitHub Actions, um, understanding like verifiable credentials and DWNs a bit more, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It's not always just something that you'll learn, but really just getting that exposure can be really key to you, um, actually working on a project long term. And my suggestion is always that everyone will say, obviously, we want you to contribute towards TBD's projects, but we really want you to find what, resonates or is passionate for you, because I think you'll have the most fun contributing towards that. But we do have cool prizes, as like an additional incentive. But yeah, so our next project, we have like two more here, is our Goose plugin. So Roselle, you can take it away for this one.
Yeah, so this is an exciting opportunity to get on the ground floor of like an AI tool. So Goose is basically like our Blocks AI developer agent. And the whole idea is that like you can interact with it and AI in your command line, and just kind of like how maybe you have like GitHub Copilot or something like that, but you're going back and forth with it in your command line, so it has a whole outlook and context of your particular project. And I think one of the cool things about Goose that go beyond like other like AI developer agents or programming assistants, whatever you want to call them, is that you can plug in certain like APIs to give Goose more refined knowledge. So let's say you wanted to make like a GitHub application or a GitHub action or something like that. You can plug in a GitHub toolkit and it'll be able to give more refined results. You also have a goose hints section that'll you can give it a couple of information so it can be able to pull that out. So what we're looking for in particular, while the team is building out Goose and adding more documentation, we're looking for more plugins, right? So a lot of the plugins that we were thinking of is like being able to easily plug into like different task management apps like Linear, Jira, stuff like that. Maybe being able to plug into Figma, and then there's another thing I wanted to just mention. I'm trying to remember it. Maybe having packages or collections for different plugins and toolkits. So maybe the person that's using Goose is a data scientist. You can say, "Hey, I want the data scientist to toolkit," and it'll come in with, I don't know, like what data scientists use, but maybe like MATLAB and like Scikit and all of these other things that they might be more familiar with using, or maybe they're a tester and it's like, oh, bring in Applet tools, bring in Playwright and all that stuff for me. So yeah, those are different opportunities for people.
Awesome. Yeah, great insight for Goose. Excited for this project along with all of them. And our final tasks for two remaining projects are for Flow and Alias. So Flow and Alias are reference apps for building decentralized web apps in general. So there's primarily just two main tasks for these. And let me just cycle between them, like close some other windows really quick. So the main task is to work on, Daniel Buckner's I actually might not know how to pronounce his last name. That's embarrassing. But for Daniel's social app Flow, and specifically, did I actually open the right thing? Hold on. I mean, I
Yeah, I think
remember.
so.
Oh, yeah. So I forget. Testing in Safari, and uh, that's pretty much the main task for that. And then for Alias, is investigating, creating an Android version essentially for Alias. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just add and say that I think this could be, I think people have been looking for like, hey, I want to be able to use a wallet application,
Yes.
or I want to know how a social media application will work
Yeah.
with Web5. And also these are also DWAs. So this is another opportunity. Maybe you tried out you contributed to the DWA starter app and you're like, I want to level up. I want to try to turn this into an Android application and stuff like that. I think that can be a cool opportunity.
Yeah, that's really a great note. So, on that note, you've all now heard about, our different projects and how you can get involved, what you will either learn or maybe something that you will get exposure to. And I wanted to talk a bit about our leaderboard and our prizes because, Hacktoberfest, it's always fun to contribute and have some prizes to aim for. So, let me open this up again. Give me one moment. Let me just zoom in to. Oh, my screen is not being shared. Let me do that again. Cool. So is this zooming in? Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't tell. So for Hacktoberfest, I'm really excited about this. We have a general point system for all of our issues. So let me actually uh, open it up so I can show you a quick example. Um, One moment, really quick. So for this issue, you'll notice that with our labels that I will talk about, is aside from the main Hacktoberfest label, along with some things that you can expect, like if it's a no code issue or a good first issue, something that we specifically have are general weights. So we have tasks that are labeled either small, medium, or large. So for each different weight, as you go through tasks and make your contributions and submit your PRs for review, each task will earn you a certain amount of points. So small is 5 points, medium is 10 points, and large is 15 points. And these are generally based around, loosely a culmination of how much time it may take, but mostly like how much Web 5 or product knowledge it may require. Just like a mix of those two things and just how in depth a task may be. So, the really cool thing with this point system is we have a live updating leaderboard, and we already have people that are in our rankings in our top 10, which is awesome. Rizel worked really hard on this. Thank you so much. You'll see this updating basically every day. And now you know about the general ranking system and that you can check it often, but what are our prizes? So, the top 10 winners in our leaderboard will with the most points at the end of the month will win exclusive prizes, and let me just give you a preview or reveal to what our swag actually looks like. So yeah, this is our, TBD Hacktoberfest 2024 limited design. I realize it's covering your face. There you go. Oh, that's that's still covering your face. But okay, that works better. Um, so yeah, if you are, on our leaderboard and you are within the top 10, the bottom 7 will win our limited design that's over there, like the bottle, the stainless steel bottle, with our general design. And the top 3 winners will win the same limited design, except it's going to have a customization just for you where it will also have your GitHub handle. What do you think of our swag, Riza?
So cute. I love it. I want one.
Me too. I don't think I will be anywhere near the top 10, but I'm really envious of, our future winners at the end of the month. So, yeah. Now, that's pretty much everything you need to know for Hacktoberfest. If anybody has any questions, now is a great time to ask away. But let me see, let me check. Any questions at all? It's okay if y'all don't have any. That may be the case as well. But is there any additional comments or thoughts you'd like to share in the meantime, Rizel?
I would say definitely join our Discord. You're probably going to say this, but definitely join our Discord if you need help or have any questions. For Goose, we actually have a separate Discord. So if you come into TVD Discord and you're like, "Hey, I want help with Goose," just let me know. Do at Devrel, and I'll help lead you to the Goose Discord. Um, but I think this is a great opportunity to get involved. Like, definitely don't sleep on open source because it could be a game changer for your career. Just because it's a good way to like network with people and get exposure to technologies that you may not be getting maybe at school or at work.
Yeah, I to add to that sentiment too, I mentioned it in a previous TBD TV stream, but people like here and just colleagues that I know at other companies in general, some of them have, or many, well, some that I've recently talked to have mentioned that open source is how they got started in general and found, a place for them, like a niche that they can thrive in and that they can bring expertise that they gained along the way. And it can just come from you having fun and contributing to projects that you may not have any impression of or that you're just hearing of for the first time, or maybe, there are several contributors and wannabe contributors in our Discord, for example, that they're like, "Hey, I wanna get started in something, but just this is a great way to have, like, some, uh, direct guidance on how you can exactly do that, while also getting, some cool swag along the way." Something that I also forgot to mention, by the way, is if you're new to Hacktoberfest, there is let me pull up the general link for that, so that you can make sure to register. So it's all month long, and, the Hacktoberfest.com website has a lot of resources and information. Registration ends, I believe. I actually don't know when it ends. It might end at the end of the month. Don't quote me on that, but yes. But one thing to note is that the requirements for your contributions to count, so you can get like, the highlight next to your GitHub handle and things like that, is to at least submit 4 PRs that are accepted and approved. So just something for you to know. So let me see any questions. So, oh, okay. So here's some first questions. Let me just take off this banner really quick. Will this video be available on the channel so I can reference it later? Yes. So this will be available on our YouTube channel straight away after the stream is over. So you will be able to watch it anytime, as mentioned. And somebody asked this question you can help answer, even though you're answering in chat, just so anybody can hear it. If I'm completely new to Vue, can I still contribute to a Vue project? Is it possible to take too long to submit a PR for an issue? That's a very good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think this is a good opportunity if you're new to Vue, to try it out. But I mean, of course, use your judgment. Like read the issue and be like, okay, like this is asking for me to create a Hello World app or just to add this basic functionality. I can do this. And then don't be afraid to go into the Discord. We have a Hacktoberfest channel. You can ask for help from us, but you can also ask for help from other contributors because they may have experience as well, and you can work together with them to solve the issue. In terms of taking too long, I would say, you want to be able to um, still be within the time frame of October 1st to October 31st and make sure it's not necessarily holding people up. But if you stay communicative with us and let us know, like, hey, I'm stuck on this part, I need help here, I think that's what's more important.
Yeah, to add to that, yeah, it's very important for you to be communicative, and we are always responding to all, GitHub comments on Discord. So we will see them, our team will see them. And if there is somebody else on our team that you need to reach outside of the developer relations team, we will be able to get you to them as well. Everyone is able to see everything at minimum. Generally speaking, you can expect a not a response, because we respond pretty much right away. But when it comes to PR reviews, they're typically reviewed within a 24-hour period. If we're taking longer for any reason, like that doesn't really happen, but we'll let you know. And Angie also mentioned registration is through October 31st. And just to add to the second part of your question of taking too long, I think the only thing you can kind of take too long for, other than making sure you participate, making sure you get your 4 approved PRs submitted before October 31st, I would see the deadline as like at least like 5 days or 4 days beforehand, because I think, let me check really quick, but the 31st is on a Thursday this year. So getting things submitted by October 25th, I feel, is the safest bet. That's the Friday before that. And if you take too long, you may not be on the top 10 for our leaderboard mainly. So if that's something that you definitely want to be in the top 10 for, or limited swag, that's one thing to keep in mind too. So yeah, let me see if there are any other burning questions. If not, don't worry, you can reference this later. And if you have other questions that come up in the future, again, you can just join our Discord and we will be there for you, along with, within GitHub as well. You can just post your questions in the comments, and we will be able to help you out. So yeah, any final comments before we sign off?
I guess happy hacking.
Happy
Yeah.
hacking, yeah. It's Hacktoberfest. I'm so happy it's here. Happy
Yeah.
to have you all here contributing. So
Yeah.
yeah, we will catch you all later in our Discord and our community spaces and all of our project repos. If you have any questions, again, just join our Discord. So yeah, take care, everybody.
See
Bye.
you later.